What happens after death? For thousands of years, human beings have tried to answer that question. And across cultures, there have always been whispers of rituals. Rituals meant to contact the dead, speak to the lost loved ones, or even call a departed being back. But can this actually happen? Can a ritual truly bring back someone who has died, or are people only speaking to their own grief and imagination? Stay with me till the end because yogic tradition approaches this question in a way that is far deeper and far more unsettling than most people realize. Death creates a wound unlike anything else. When someone disappears from your life physically, the mind struggles to accept it. And because of this, human beings have always searched for ways to reconnect with the dead. Mediums, seances, spiritual rituals, invocation practices. Almost every culture has some version of it. Not always because of curiosity, but because of longing. In yogic culture, death is not viewed as total annihilation. The physical body dies, but the life energies and karmic impressions are believed to continue for some time in different states. Because of this, yogic systems acknowledge that certain interactions with disembodied beings may be possible. But this is where the warning begins. Because yogis never treated such things casually. Sadhguru has openly spoken about disembodied beings and subtle dimensions of life. But he repeatedly warns people against trying to contact the dead out of fascination or emotion. Why? Because according to yogic understanding, you may not truly understand what you are dealing with. Not every unseen presence is what people imagine it to be, and emotional desperation can make the mind highly vulnerable. Can rituals create experiences? Yes. Rituals can create intense psychological and emotional experiences. Lighting lamps, chanting, sacred spaces, focused emotion, all these can alter human perception deeply. A grieving person may genuinely feel a presence, and to them, that experience can feel absolutely real. But feeling something does not automatically mean a dead person has literally returned. Yogic tradition suggests that after death, certain karmic tendencies or energetic imprints may still linger for some time. This is why rituals for the dead exist in many Indian traditions, not necessarily to bring them back, but to help the departed move on peacefully. The purpose was support, not attachment. Yogis strongly discourage attempts to pull the dead back emotionally or energetically. Why? Because both sides remain trapped. The reason the living person cannot heal and the departed being is not allowed to move on peacefully. In yogic understanding, attachment becomes suffering even after death. This is where things become psychologically dangerous. A grieving mind desperately wants signs, and once obsession begins, people may start interpreting everything as supernatural dreams, sounds, coincidences. The human mind is powerful enough to create convincing experiences when emotions are intense. That is why yogic systems insisted on balance and clarity first. Science does not support the idea that rituals can literally bring dead people back. There is no verified evidence for communication with the dead through supernatural means. Psychology explains many such experiences through grief, suggestion, memory, and altered states of perception. But science also admits something important. Human consciousness and subjective experience are still not fully understood. Across cultures, if every culture has rituals around death, there must be a reason. Not necessarily because they prove ghosts exist, but because rituals help human beings process loss. They create closure, meaning, connection, and emotionally that can be deeply healing. Yogi culture makes a very important distinction. Remembering the dead with love is one thing, becoming attached to pulling them back is another. One brings peace, the other creates suffering. That is why many yogic rituals focus on acceptance and release, not possession or contact. Human beings are deeply fascinated by death because it is the greatest unknown. Nobody fully knows what lies beyond it, and where there is mystery, stories emerge. Fear emerges, hope emerges. But yogis believed the real spiritual path was not about chasing ghosts, it was about understanding life itself. Maybe the deeper question is not, can you call a dead person back? Maybe the deeper question is, why are humans unable to accept impermanence? Why do we cling so desperately? Yogic tradition says suffering begins the moment we demand permanence from a temporary world. Yogis were not interested in collecting paranormal experiences. Their focus was liberation, freedom from fear, freedom from attachment, freedom from compulsive longing. To them, the greatest miracle was not talking to the dead, it was becoming fully conscious while alive. So, can you call a dead person back through ritual? Science says there is no evidence that the dead literally return through ceremonies or invocation. Yogic tradition acknowledges subtle dimensions of life, but strongly warns against emotional obsession with the dead. Because the real spiritual path is not about pulling the departed back, it is about learning how to let go consciously. The real question is, are you seeking truth or are you only trying to escape grief? If this gave you a deeper perspective on death and attachment, share this with someone who would find this fascinating. And for more deep explorations into consciousness, life, and yogic wisdom, like this video and subscribe.